Hey all, this is Corey. I just wanted to touch base on the aspects for this week. See how they affect you. Please drop me a comment, let me know what's going on with you. I know this Mercury retrograde is whooping some of y'all's ass. Thankfully for me, I don't have any significant placements in Taurus, but I am feeling this Scorpio full moon as it creeps up into my first house. So let's get into it. As the week begins, we're moving out of a square that Mercury retrograde is making to Lilith. So watch your mouth, guys. Mercury retrograde is for going inward, and Lilith can be a trigger that makes you want to speak out. The urge to act out in the effort to assert our individuality conflicts with the information coming up in our review of our internal and material foundations. What that means is that Lilith is in Leo. We want to assert ourselves. We want to assert our individuality. We want to go out there and shine. We want to play. We want to be creative. We want to have fun. We want to stand out. We want to be acknowledged for everything that makes us unique and individual. But the urge to act out right now just to assert your individuality is a waste of your energy, because it conflicts with the information that's requiring all the information that's coming to you that's saying, work on your foundations, work on your physical body, work on your self-worth, your values, all those Mercury retrograde in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus and Sun in Taurus. There's a stellium. And so Taurus is more important than what Lilith has to say right now. Yeah, you want to stand out, but, stand out doing what? If you're unstable, then why are you, that's more important than other people acknowledging your individuality. What I have here is that having others recognize what makes us valuable is not as important as recognizing and applying that information in our own lives. Don't let the desire for applause blind you to the reality of your responsibilities, both to yourself and to others. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's how we enter the week. As the week gets going, Mercury is going to be still retrograde in Taurus, so we are deeply impacted in terms of financial security, material wealth, physical comfort. Save your money, care for your bodies, folks. That's what's important right now. Going inward and reevaluating self-worth, value, what those things mean for you, how capable you are of embodying your values at this time, and how do you close that chasm? Taurus is all about self-worth. Taurus is all about things and people that are of value. But with Mercury retrograde, this is about going within to redefine that and to find it for yourself, to establish it for yourself so that nothing external can undermine it. So we'll talk more about that in a second. From the 3rd to the 7th, Venus is square Neptune. And Venus is in Gemini, so this is a mutable square. There's a lot of changeability. There can be uncertainty, especially with Neptune, which creates illusions. Can sometimes get us lost in our daydreams. There's a whimsical air to the transit. Even the best of circumstances will prove distracting to most of us, especially those of us who have placements in Gemini and placements in Pisces, but also in the other mutable signs, Sagittarius and Virgo. So especially if you have second decan placements between 11 and 20 degrees. So it may be difficult to ground yourselves in the reality of here and now if you're refusing to see things and people as they are. That will be difficult to do, since some element of our attraction to people and to things is in our blind spot. And so there are actual efforts in some cases, there are actual efforts to conceal or deceive in social situations and one-on-one environments. Be careful, be discerning, and take your time, because rushing into the new while all the planets are now getting ready to station retrograde, it's probably not the best idea. This is a time for planning, recalibration, reevaluation, redoing things, not starting new things, but going back to things that are already done and seeing how they can be improved upon with the information that you've gotten recently. It's one thing to be lied to, which we have no control over, but if you allow your ideals to blind you to reality, you have to deal with the consequences of your own self-deception, which reaches much farther into the future. Why? Refusal to see the truth or sit with our uncertainty and the reasons behind it will undermine our ability to trust ourselves going forward. If you can't trust yourself, you can't do shit. That's on period. We have an applying Mercury retrograde sextile to Saturn in Pisces. This is the first of 3 passes that this aspect will make. What we're getting a glimpse of right now is what work will be required or motivated or compelled by our circumstances to do in the interest of greater stability. Mercury retrograde is looking for stability, regardless of all that other shit, all our daydreams. Saturn in Pisces is looking to bring our daydreams into applicable form, into physical form, into tangible results. They're asking us to take responsibility for our dreams, our aspirations, and our delusions. Clear them out. Build structures that secure you and keep you safe and secure, because your responsibility, your discipline, all of those things lend themselves to freedom, to the achievement of dreams. And Taurus knows that. And so Mercury retrograde in Taurus is helping us get back in touch with that, while Saturn in Pisces is like, let's sift through the daydreams, let's sift through the delusions, let's sift through the outright lies. Let's sift through the spiritual bypassing, especially, and identify the flaws in the system or the lacking quality of work that we've already done, and consider the way that we can improve it, how we can bring about stability, security, joy, spiritual evolution, how we can achieve our dreams, how we can clear up the lies and illusions in our own lives in order to live a life aligned with our values. And so that's really it. The full moon in Scorpio is going to oppose the Mercury retrograde point. Mercury stationed retrograde at 15 degrees Taurus, Scorpio. Full moon eclipse on Friday the 5th or the 6th, depending on where you are, is going to oppose this point. And so what's going to be highlighted is all the muck that still needs to be cleared out in order for us to transmute the energy, in order for us to fully embody our true values, in order for us to identify what our values are, all of the attachments that we're holding on to, all of the emotional conditioning, what's rotting. That's what a full moon in Scorpio is going to show you. What's rotting, what requires change at a deep emotional level, where we're lacking depth or going too deep into something that is not of value. Meanwhile, in the background, this full moon is applying in a square to Lilith. It's opposing Uranus, and it's in a loose trine to Mars. So the trine to Mars is supportive. That's Scorpio's ruling planet. And it's about creating emotional security. What's making you feel insecure? A lot of times when your foundations, when you're dependent in some way on other people, you often find that it undermines your self-worth. It limits the way that you can act and align with your values, because when you're dependent on someone else, a lot of times you're under their rules. That's Saturn energy, my house, my rules. And so what we're looking for now is we're trying to maintain our emotional equilibrium with that trine, while we're clearing out that which facilitates our insecurity, which undermines our value systems. And the square to Lilith means that what's coming up now for reevaluation, what's being highlighted now with a full moon, is the muck that we're, it's reevaluating everything that we are holding on to at a deep emotional level and allowing ourselves to clear out that which is not ours. A lot of times we're holding on to other people's projections. We're holding on to emotional conditioning, past trauma. Betrayal trauma is a huge thing with Scorpio energy. And so really think about what you're holding on to and how it applies to present day, or is it undermining, your progress in present day? Where have you changed internally and your lifestyle is no longer reflecting that? Is not yet reflecting that? It's time to take a look at what you're still holding on to that's preventing that new from coming into your life. Excuse me. And also another aspect in the background that's not actually making an aspect to Scorpio is the Venus sextile to Jupiter. So that's a feeling of magnanimity. We want to share our positive energy with all we can counter. But there is a need for discernment. The aspect is mutually beneficial. It's a great aspect for mutually beneficial relationships. However, there's a strong need for discernment here because of the potential for overinflating with Jupiter in the mix. You don't want to be pouring all your goodies into empty cups unless that person is, adding food to your plate in kind. And so it's just another aspect of how we embody our value, how we embody our sense of self-worth. There's embodiment of your values, what's important to you and how you act in a way that shows what's important to you, and then how you embody your self-worth, that you feel worthy, that you are worthy, just because you exist. Jupiter in Aries is the great I am worthy because I am here. And so that's what we're getting in touch with this week. We're still right in the middle of Mercury retrograde when this full moon occurs, and its opposition to Uranus means that there's always going to be an unexpected element. There's always going to be a little bit of a surprise. There's always going to be a little unpredictability, possibly a little bit of rebellion or rebellious urges within us. And so, good luck, bitches. I'm taking a nap, a good long extended nap until Mercury goes direct. Enjoy.